Good morning or good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome to a history lesson with us, group number 8. Today we will be covering one of the worst events carried out by mankind, a genocide. This video will not be talking about genocides as a whole, nor will it be on the Holocaust. It will be focused on the Ugandan genocide. Now, before we start this video, we do want to inform you, the viewer, of two things. Number one, this video will be talking about the mass murder of many African tribes. Although this event is not as widely and thoroughly covered as the Holocaust, that does not make this genocide any less important or as brutal than any other genocide you know. And number two, again, this video will be talking about the mass murder of many African tribes. There will be content on this video not meant for immature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. With all of the formalities out of the way, let's jump right into the video. So, what was the Ugandan genocide? Well, the Ugandan genocide was a reign of terror over the citizens of Uganda from 1971 to 1985. There were two regimes during this time, one under the feared cannibal Idi Amin, and another under returning President Milton Obote. There were multiple different tribes targeted by both regimes. In Amin's rule over Uganda, the Akoli and Lengo tribe were massacred, resulting in approximately 300,000 deaths. In Obote's rule, the Baganda people were targeted, resulting in between 100,000 and 500,000 deaths.
Idi Amin was born in 1925 and is considered one of the most brutal rulers in the modern history. In 1946, he joined the King's African Rifles, KAR, a regiment of the British colony. Amin was deployed to combat on multiple occasions, most notably Somalia in 1949 to fight Shifta rebels, and to Kenya from 1952 to 1956 to suppress the Mau Mau rebellion. In 1959, he attained the rank of Ifende, the highest military position for a black African soldier in KAR. And in 1966, Amin had been appointed commander of the armed forces by Obote. Around this time, Obote and Amin were accused of smuggling gold and ivory from cargo that were traded for armed weapons. Following this accusation, Obote made himself exclusive president, suspended the constitution, and made Amin conquer the kingdom of Buganda in south-central Uganda. After two failed assassination attempts, Obote started to question Amin's loyalty and had orders for his arrest. During Obote's absence, Amin staged a coup on January 25, 1979, seizing control of Uganda and exiling Obote.
As soon as he got into power, Amin began to execute the Akoli and Lengo tribes en masse. These Christian tribes were loyal to Obote, as he saw them as a threat. In order to further eliminate those who opposed his rule, Amin created international security forces such as the State Research Bureau and the Public Safety Unit, who were acting as terror groups to the public. Jumping 1 year into the future, Amin expelled the entire Asian population in Uganda to anywhere outside of the entire country. This was about 50 to 70,000 people. This quickly collapsed the economy as manufacturing, agriculture, and commerce did not have the appropriate resources to support them. Jumping forward in time again, on June 27th, 1976, a secular Marxist-Leninist and revolutionary socialist organization known as PFLP, Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, hijacked an Air France flight flying from Israel to Paris. Upon hearing this news, Amin welcomed the terrorists into Uganda and supplied them with troops and weapons. Amin was humiliated shortly after welcoming the terrorists because Israeli commandos rescued the hostages in a surprise raid on Entebbe Airport. In the aftermath to this raid, Amin ordered the execution of many people, from security personnel to hundreds of Kenyans believed to conspire with Israel, and an elderly hostage who was escorted to the near hospital after having a medical emergency.
Over time, Amin's allies disappeared and his military began to rebel. When some of his soldiers fled to Tanzania, Amin accused their president, Julius Nyerere, of unrest, and in November 1978, he annexed a strip of territory north of the Kagera River. 2 weeks later, Nyerere launched a counterattack and recaptured the annexed land with the help of the Ugandan exiles. Battle raged forward into Uganda, and on April 11th, 1979, Amin fled the country when Kampala was captured. After trying to find refuge in Libya, he soon moved to Saudi Arabia and lived comfortably until his death from multiple organ failures in 2005.
Hey Caleb, are you going to Hop Like a Key tonight?
I wish I could, but I'm stuck doing this history project.
Ooh, I love history. What is it about?
The fact that love and history were used in the same sentence disgusts me. But it's about the Uganda genocide, more specifically, Milton Obote.
Oh, I know a little bit about that. Milton Obote first appointed himself Prime Minister of Uganda in 1962 and then later named himself President and declared a state of emergency that allowed him to rule with impunity.
Yeah, I read that he served as Prime Minister from 1962 to 1966. And then he gained presidency from 1966 to 1971, and once again in 1980 through 1985.
Do you see any information about what happened between 1971 and 1980?
Right here it says that a guy named Idi Amin and his army overthrew him.
Oh wow, after hearing this, I don't know who's worse. I know Milton had his party of people called the Uganda People's Congress, which was made up of the Acholi and the Lengo tribe, and they essentially did his dirty work for him. And then there's another tribe called the Buganda Kingdom in the south that opposed his party and what they stood for.
Child, Idi Amin wasn't a saint either. He led a coup d'etat that overthrew Milton Obote on January 25th, 1971, and massacred ethnic groups most loyal to Obote. If Petty was a person, it would definitely be him. Anyways, my teacher wants me to find out who was the protagonist and who was the antagonist.
While they both did terrible things, I definitely think that Milton Obote would be considered a protagonist, but a villain protagonist, and Idi Amin would be the antagonist.
You make a great point.
So what caused him to be overthrown the first time?
Well, Obote implemented socialist policies, and the country suffered from severe corruption and food shortages, which led Idi Amin to overthrow Milton in the coup d'etat in 1971, exiling him to Tanzania. However, he was re-elected as president in 1980 after Idi was overthrown in 1979.
Oh, okay, so Idi...
I'm so tired of hearing about Idi Amin. I want to know more about what happened during Milton's second reign. What's this about the Bush War?
Oh, so you want to know about the Bush War? I know a little something about that.
Girl, send a tea. I'm seeing stuff about Milton's UPC again. Who are they fighting this time?
Well, the Ugandan Bush War pitted Uganda's government, aka the UPC, against Yoweri Museveni's rebel forces, the National Resistance Army, otherwise known as the NRA.
Okay, so is Milton still the protagonist in this war? It says here that both parties committed mass killings, and innocent civilians were often killed based on political allegiance.
Once again, it's a bit blurry. Although both men committed heinous acts, nobody's innocent in war. I'd still consider Obote a protagonist, though, as he issued an order for his military to stop harassing innocent people once he saw how bad it was.
Yeah, I can see that.
How did they even start beefing in the first place?
Well, the NRA essentially wanted to rebel against Obote and destabilize his government. It says that the war lasted from October 6, 1980 to March 1986.
Yeah, and it's also said between those years, the NRA would go around killing tribes affiliated with the Obote. They established a militia in the Luwero district in 1981, and even went as far as dressing up in UPC and UNLA uniforms and killing innocent people just to make Milton's army look bad.
Man, I thought he was petty. The NRA definitely has some beef.
I know, right? It wasn't until January 1983, however, that things reached its climax. During this time, Obote launched Operation Bonanza in the Luwero Triangle, where the NRA militia was established.
And let me guess, many people died.
Many is an understatement. UNLA soldiers ransacked NRA settlements and killed people and displaced hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah, I'm seeing that here right now. It's saying that a lot of the fighting happened near the capital of Uganda. Many men, women, and children were killed during this time.
Yeah, I know, it breaks my heart. It also broke Obote's heart, and he began to lose control of his army. Many of his soldiers acted out against their higher-ups and loved to abuse their power.
If I learned anything in history, is that trade is driving history, and a weak army equals high chances of defeat. See, look, I knew it. Museveni took advantage of this weakness, and many UNLA soldiers switched sides.
Yeah, I know. This turn of events led over 500,000 people dying, and a Choli general named Basilo overthrew Obote on July 27, 1985, causing the end to Obote's second reign. Citizens lost trust, and there was an increase in corruption, which this includes bribing political officials, and there's patronage in the government. Uganda was over-militarized, and they didn't have free press or elections. And internationally, they were no longer eligible for aid.
Wait, but I thought the war ended in 1986. What happened when General Basilo took over?
That's not your problem. You need to focus on Milton. But anyways, let's just go to Hot Like a Cube.
Say less, make me!
Stop. The video isn't done. Let's give a round of applause to group number 8 for creating such a beautiful masterpiece. You guys did a fantastic job. Let's also give a shout out to Greater Grandpa from the YouTube channel The New Horseman. He did an amazing job putting this project together. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Please leave a like and subscribe, and don't forget to leave a comment on what you want to see next.